Members of the House, let's be clear on today's debate. What we're gonna debate is about the woman that is privileged will take on the affirmative actions compared with unprivileged woman. This is all of the comparison between which one will get the benefit even more. For example, if only the unprivileged woman gets the benefit compared with privileged woman, meaning white women, for example, European women will not get the benefit. This is gonna be debate about comparison between the two and why this gonna be beneficial for the unprivileged woman for them to attain equality, right? That's gonna be debate for today. We say that is the world will be better if the woman will be equal, because this is gonna be my first and only argument, that is that equal treatment for unequal female standing, which is developed and developing countries women, still and suffering still creates inequality for all substances. That's gonna be my argument. Why is that so? This will give select or focus on unprivileged women, right? But before that, let's explain woman. What is woman? Woman is simply an antithesis of men, right? Meaning they first physically weak, secondly emotionally unstable, thirdly then some people gonna think that the women are complex, they cannot be easily seen by or man as something that is equal to them, for example. Even when the society already denounced this statement previously in history, these differences, the stark differences, has already created a source of disenfranchisement in history, right? And this has created all types of women to suffer enslavement, for example, and has less right, for example, in the freedom of speech, in the freedom of voting, in the freedom of movement, meaning that they get less right compared with men. And also, all women actually have the norms of, for example, man helper, meaning that they're always second rate compared to men, right? Essentially weaker than men in that comparison. But in status quo itself, the woman is already being divided into two parts, because, for example, that the woman already attained the equal treatments from the government, even if it's not equal yet, but at least this already can be divided into two. For example, in the essence of privileged woman and non-privileged woman. Privileged woman can be said as white woman, for example, then European woman, for instance. But secondly, non-privileged woman can be extended into black woman, but also Asian woman, but also Hispanics, right? That's gonna be the dividations. Now let's talk about the dividations also. The developed country woman. What is that? The developed country woman, it already has been prioritized by the government in essence of, for example, anti-discrimination policies, which, for example, that the government and the white woman, for example, has already advocated in the essence of equality, and the government already accepts those equalities and therefore creates affirmative actions, right, for the countries such as US, such as Canada, such as other countries. But moreover, because of this anti-discrimination policy already being enacted, and there is always punishment if you do not follow this statement, they enjoy the developed countries' benefits in a pragmatic way and also moral way. For example, that in a pragmatic way they already get easy food, like longer life sustenance, the hospital benefits, for example, easy service. For example, the government can help them in the case of everything as equal as men, and also the freedom of speech, freedom of vote, and freedom of movement. Even if they got it lesser than men, but at least they already enjoy it and already got it. But moreover, this developed country woman is already morally, liberated in essence of that also. But moreover, this problem of in the status quo, the problem of the white woman already can be extended into disenfranchisement from only men, right? Because for example, that they always only got disenfranchisement from the people of the same race, which also got a same benefit, same privilege from the same country, right? Which means that the white woman only needs to get the equal treatment from the men on the same race, right? Because, for example, Asian man will not, for example, discriminate white woman, because whites in general are superior compared with our race as Asians, as blacks, for example. When developing country woman is not that prioritized by the government in the past, right? Because, for example, such as Indonesia, we do not really enacted the essence of anti-discrimination policy. For example, And for instance, we already have the cultural essence of discriminating women in the first place. Moreover, the woman doesn't really have the pragmatic benefits of easy food life sustenance, because the man itself gets less from that essence compared with developed countries, even more than women, right? Because in all the global population, we should all agree that woman is being second rate than man, for example. That's why the burden is practically bigger compared with white woman and developing woman, right? That's why in the essence of affirmative actions, this should only be enjoyed by unprivileged citizens. Why is that so? For example, in the status quo, white women already got a lot of advocates in terms of their privileges. For example, feminist movement, like for example Taylor Swift or Emma Watson, right? Even if they upholding all the equality in the UN for all types of women, they're indirectly white supremacists, because the white people still think that they are bigger. They represent white people as also represent women in general. But secondly, comparatively with black advocates, doesn't really that effective. Compared with Nicki Minaj versus Taylor Swift in Twitter, for example, when Nicki Minaj says that I do not get the awards compared with Taylor Swift, and she says that they are being influenced because of the sexy body that the black people has. Taylor Swift says that, yeah, why do you do not support me? The war is being won by Taylor Swift in general, right? This is result in bad discourse, meaning that the black people have less advocates, means that less narrative of movement compared with white people, right? When affirmative actions get by the white woman also, for example, discourage the suffering of the minorities, right? Meaning that, for example, that white women get more workplace, get more admittance to universities, get more salaries. The black people will say that blacks needs more. They will say that white privilege is not enough. What more do you want, white woman, for example? White societies can help each other by their own historical benefit of money, education, and the reports and the indirect favoritism from government. For example, the White House is always white and the Congress, where black people suffer from current bad stigma from historical narrative, for example, that the black is always labeled as thieves and rapists and is unlikely to be erased in the short term, for example, that the Obama presence is not held. But secondly, even being more or less privileged, been treated in the same with white women, right? This is problematic, because in essence, equal treatment for unequal female standing and suffering still creates inequality and very proud to oppose the motion. Thank you.